Welcome to Building Emotional Intelligence Skills program. In today's session, we'll discuss about social awareness. Now, when I use the word social awareness, again and again, the only one thought that strikes my mind is a very popular quote of Aristotle. As Aristotle, the great philosopher, has said, by nature, man is a social animal. So, this sentence really means that a human being cannot survive alone. Definitely, he needs company. He needs people. He needs support of people around him in order to make his life comfortable. Though the sentence or the quote has been given few years back, few decades back, till today it holds good. Definitely, we need the support of others. So you cannot live in a society in an isolated way. Definitely, you need support of the people around you, maybe at home or at workplace. So why is it important to have social awareness? In order to be successful, in order to be winner at your working workplace, or in order to be a good family member, you need to know not only yourself, you also need to know people around you. Okay, so how can we know people around them? One way, or the first thing that you do is uh, you address people with their names. Now, why should you address people with their names? That gives a feeling to them that you know their name and they care and you care about them. And this is a very good way to approach people. Whenever you address people with their names, so they will be more attentive and they will listen to you. So the good way to start with is addressing people with their names. And second thing is, like, when you interact with people, you not only just pay attention to the verbal part, but pay more attention to the non-verbal part of the communication. Now, already you may be familiar, when we communicate, the communication process, 70% is non-verbal, only 30% is verbal. And in that 30%, if the other person is smart, so he would have hide his thoughts. We cannot blindly depend upon the person's language usage or the way he has used the words. If someone is good at language, he will definitely hide up his thoughts with a more uh, stronger vocabulary or advanced vocabulary. So don't get carried away with the words. See the association between his non-verbal and verbal part. Always pay attention whether what he's saying, his body is also saying the same. Means gestures. Pay attention on the physical gestures. So verbally he may be saying something, but the facial expressions may keep the ground reality before you. So be a keen observer. See and keep and watch on the body language. How the person is reacting, how his facial expressions were when he was saying a thing. Like for instance, you had asked a person about his willingness to support you in your work. Now, as a boss, the other person may not deny, but in reality, he really doesn't want to support you. So he may have a little bit of hesitation to say no, but at the same time, he may say yes verbally for a moment's sake. Now, here, what is more important is Though he is not willing, he has said yes, but if you keenly or carefully observe his body language, you can definitely understand that he was not willing. And maybe because of hesitation or because of saying no to the boss is not a good thing, he is forced to say yes. So keep an eye on the body language. And next thing is stay calm in all the situations. Don't panic. Don't force your thoughts on the other person. Try to be as relaxed as possible. Sometimes the situations may be challenging. Sometimes it is easy to say to stay calm, but very difficult to stay calm where things are going out of your hands. But always keep in mind that by creating panic or by taking stress, there is nothing much you can do. So if you give too many tasks to the mind, at times the mind may also resist. Mind may also say, this is not my cup of tea. I can't handle this much of stress at one point of time. So be calm. Okay. Prioritize the things. Planning plays an essential role. Okay. Stay close to the ground reality. Accept the ground reality. It's always not needed that you need to be successful. Failures are also stepping stones for success. We need to recognize this. Not only recognize this, we need to accept this. Maybe who knows, that failure would teach you a better lesson, and the success you can achieve at a later date will be better than the success which you expected in the first case. So, uh, take some time. Okay, be calm. Try to understand the people. Okay, now how to understand the people? The best way is empathy. Empathy is thinking or looking at the things from a person's point of view. So when you look at the things from a person's point of view, you can better understand the person. So let me take a small example here to understand what empathy is or how empathy will be helpful. Let us take a scenario where you have a husband and wife, and for the past few days, husband is very much stressed up whenever he returns home. He's uh, more angry, okay, and he doesn't speak much or spend much time with wife, which is not normal. Let us say for that, for a time being. And whenever the wife tries to interact with the husband, he outbursts or he tries to show all the work stress which he couldn't outburst at the office. So obviously he's trying to release it at home. Now this is a very typical situation for the lady at home, for the wife to handle, because she is also a human being and she also has some expectations. And when these expectations don't meet, uh, it's a problematic situation because her expectations are also valid here. She deserves to have a quality time. She wishes to spend some quality time with her husband, and that is quite natural. But here, an important point to ponder is, instead of the wife finding fault with her husband, if she takes up empathy or if she brings empathy in her life, then what happens? She starts thinking from her husband's perspective. The first thing that she would do is she would try to ask herself a question: Her husband was very affectionate in the beginning. Nowadays, he's not so. What may be the reason? And why is behaving, why is a little bit aggressive after coming from the office? Means where things would have been out of control, definitely there is some problem at the office, which he's not able to discuss with her. That's the reason he is upset or is not behaving in the way he used to behave in the other days. Okay, now what can she do to this? Is there anything that she can do? Yes, definitely she can do. Like, instead of making the things further worse or getting into an argument, if she gives some time for the other person to adjust, other person to release his stress. Like, he may be stressful and in a stress or in an aggressive mood, he may a little bit offend you. But if she understands it is not, he's not unhappy with her, it is the stress levels that are making him the person act in that way. And if she shows some patience, then the other person himself, the husband himself, may say sorry, or he may repent, and he himself may tell about the things why he is acting it. Other than this, is there anything that the wife can do to make the things better? Yes, she can. So what she can do is small small things like whatever the favorite food of her husband, she can prepare the favorite food of her husband. She can try to deviate his mind. She can make him more comfortable in offering the food he likes most. Okay, and when he's alone and when he's down to earth and low spirits, she can just uh, tell him to relax a little bit. She can tell him to not to worry too much about the work. So she can encourage him. She can tell him like you, this is not the first time you're handling such a situation, and problems and issues are part of the life. So every issue has got a lesson to teach. So if he feels nervous, if he feels like things may not be in his hands, then it's not going to work out. So like this, empathy plays a major role. Make let it be in an office environment or let it be in a household environment. Okay, so cultivate of the habit of nurturing and developing empathy in your professional as well as family life. This definitely gives you a lot of place and scope to grow. And the next thing is like why social awareness is important. So when you are socially aware, you will also have an opportunity to understand the dynamics of the organization where you are working. And obviously, we also need to know the political system or the political approaches the organization may not be officially the organization or the people around you uh, political any or you a victim of any of such politics or they are planning something. So if you're knowingly or unknowingly part of the political trap, how to save yourself. So this may be again possible only when you are when you are socially aware, when you start observing the things very keenly. And the next last point which I would like to say is don't be judgmental. So what does the word judgmental means? Judgmental means being only very critical or looking at the things, magnifying the things, and always like getting into a state where we are trying to give our opinions and trying to judge people. Especially, this is one thing which people hate. People don't like others to be judgmental because everyone has a strong feeling that he is always right. Something like boss is always right. So, as far as possible, if you by chance have an habit of being too judgmental or critically analyzing the things or trying to find faults with the people, so it's better to drop the thing. So because people don't like when you say something openly on their face. So this is not something which generally people will not tolerate. So this brings us to the end of social awareness. And as we have discussed in today's session about social awareness, tomorrow's session will focus more on relationship management, which happens to be the last phase of building emotional intelligence skills program. Uh, so that's for today. Have a good day. Take care.